There will be no vote here tonight. Can't vote on anything. By state statute, we are not allowed to even convene as a voting body. We still can speak about our animal control issues, which is the main reason we're here tonight anyway. And my only recourse of action is to take it to the full commission, which I'll do at the next October meeting. We do have several things to talk about tonight. We have some proposals on issues. And let me turn this phone off. I should have already done that. I'm getting old. So we have some issues that we're still going to discuss. Like I said, we just won't be able to vote on anything tonight. So the call to order is negative. The roll call, Ms. Margie, you have that correct?
Yes.
So we will be skipping item number 3 on the agenda, which is the election of chairman and discussion of fund distribution now is what we will move on to. I believe that Ms. Susan Baumann has a proposal. I've looked over it in length. I don't think it's an end-all be-all, but it is definitely a fair proposal, and I approve of it. I know. So would you like to go over that, Ms. Susan?
Sure. I'm going to let everybody have a copy so you can just follow along. I'm basically going to just read it. It's very short. You have
I would like to have them also. I didn't bring mine. Sorry. Thank you, ma'am.
So basically, there's $36,000 sitting in the animal control fund, and the mayor needs to be spent. And unfortunately, nobody has any plans or ideas how to do a permanent fix to the stray animal and the animal control problem here in Stewart County. And there's 5 different animal rescue groups. So we wanted the distribution of the money to be fair. So whoever takes in more dogs or less dogs, they'll be compensated. So this proposal is, and Eli and I had a big chat about it, and it just seems like the most fair and equitable way to distribute the money. And like the mayor said, it's not end all be all. People can talk and say if they like it or don't like it, or if they've got another plan they want the commission to look at or think about. So it's basic, simple, $36,000 divided by $200 per dog, and that would be a county contribution to a rescue who took in a dog. And then that would have 180 unclaimed strays or abandoned dogs paid, not all paid for, but the county would give them a contribution. So summary, currently when an unclaimed stray or abandoned animal is found, one of the 5 animal groups takes the stray. If the groups are full, sometimes an unclaimed stray cannot be taken in. There just won't be a solution to that. Generally speaking, each rescue group will take the animal and get it up to date on vaccines, get it heartworm tested, dewormed on flea and tick product, and then they'll get it fixed. And that is the biggest expense, is spay and neuters. So, and then the rescue groups have extra expense the longer a dog's in the care, because every month they got to put flea and tick, heartworm, feed the dog. So it gets costly for all the groups. Then when you look at the costs associated with getting an animal fixed, it varies. There's so many variables. So I took four animal clinics, 2 on the low end, one's middle, and one's a high-priced one. And they're 2 are local and 2 are right outside in different counties. And then I averaged all those costs. And you can see here I came up with a basic care cost, and that the spay and neuters was done with averaging. So, and that's going to go up or down. If you get a big dog or a little dog or a male or a female, or gosh, if they're in heat or lactating. And then for the rescues to get basic vaccines, those prices are across the board. Some are as low as $30, some are as high as over $78. And then again, the flea and tick and heartworm and dewormer, costs are all over the board, because you know there is hundreds of products out there and they can be combined in different ways. So that is just an estimate, $50 per month per dog to have flea and tick and heartworm and dewormer. And then again, food is just estimated. That can be all over the board depending on that's for one dog. And that can be over the board if it's a small dog, big dog, and what type of food you feed it. Rescues usually don't like to use that real cheap brand because it gives dogs diarrhea, right? So anyways, you come up with $291 again. You might get a new dog that's already spayed and neutered when it's on the street. So, you know, in some cases, the rescue will make out getting $200, and sometimes they're going to pay, you know, way more for the dog. So eventually it pans out. But even just using these basic numbers, you see the rescue is still in the negative, but at least they will be getting a $200 contribution from the county, and then they can use whatever fee they adopt the dog out. Again, that's just basic vetting. Costs are higher, and a lot of these street dogs come in with a lot of problems. Ear infections, eye infections, you name it, skin infections. So really there's a lot more cost involved, but unfortunately we only have this little pot of money to work with this year. So again, this is just a proposed process. The Humane Society can open up a all separate bank account, and I was going to have an intake manager be in charge of that account. And right now, Jeannie Fredericks, who is here tonight, she is an animal advocate, and she's not connected to any rescue whatsoever, and you all may have seen her name on Facebook now and then, has agreed to volunteer and manage the bank account and issue checks to the various rescues. So a rescue group will take in an unclaimed stray after they've tried to look for an owner, and then check for microchip, and then they'll fill out an invoice and they'll email it to Jeannie. And let me say, I meant to, Jeannie, raise your hand so everybody, that's Jeannie. She was in the Army Reserve for 9 years, and she now works at the DOD schools at Fort Campbell. She was a resident of Clarksville, and we are very blessed that she moved here to Stewart County, and that she has offered to do this. So she'll receive invoices each month, and then she'll issue a check to the various rescues who submitted an invoice. And then the invoices and the bank reconciliation reports can be sent to the mayor's office or wherever the mayor wants it to go. The next page is just a proposed invoice that you would fill out and send to Jeannie. And then other items that I think need to be discussed amongst, there's not too many here, but the rescues might want to pop in if we, don't mind them speaking. But one of the issues is, would we pay for owner relinquished animals? And I just think we would really quickly run out of money, because right now people are relinquishing their animals at a cyclic rate. And yes, if they can't find a place for that animal to go, they may abandon it and it become an unclaimed stray, but at least they can try to find a home, they can try family and friends. And we've got the rehoming page too, but the only one that I agree with, and Lisa has done, I think Lisa, you're the only one that's ever taken in all these dogs, is when the sheriff's office confiscates dogs and files charges on the owner can relinquish those dogs to the rescue. And not always. No, they can be offered it. Oh, okay. But they can be offered it. It can be offered. Say, hey, have them relinquish it. And actually, a lot of times that makes their case look better if it's a real bad case. And then the rescue should be paid because that animal has been relinquished to the rescue. But I would push for that for those type of cases. And then the one, Mayor, I'll let you take on this one. There was a recent incident where the Sagleys, let's see, the sheriff confiscated 2 dogs and charged the people. The Sagleys took care of those dogs for how long, Lisa? A month or 2? Or well, I don't want to say it here publicly.
The 2 pretty ones, yeah, I can't say names, please. The 2 pretty ones went back to the owners original owners.
Right.
We had those guys for 2.5 months.
So, but what happens is if the charges are dropped, or if the owner wins the case, then the rescue has just provided free board and care. And so I was going to turn that one over to you, Mayor.
So, first off, for those of you who don't know me, I have a passion for dogs. I love dogs. I've got 2 grand dogs that I keep way more than I ever did mine. Put mine down last year, still visit her all the time. So, but my passion for animals cannot supersede your tax dollar and tax dollars of the citizens that do not care about animals. So I will not let that tie in together, first and foremost. What she just spoke of an incident where the dogs were brought in from the sheriff's office or anybody, I won't even say the sheriff's office, and turned over to Miss Lisa. The county will not be accountable for that reimbursement. We cannot go down that. That's a rabbit hole that I will stand up and preach in front of my commission, and here's why. If we say we're accountable for that and that dog bites the very first person that comes in, the county's also accountable for that. We cannot do that. I spoke with our lawyer about it. He 100% adamantly said no. And I can't speak for my commission, nor will I ever, but I can just about certainly tell you they're not going to go along with that. Let's not put stuff in front of the commission that we know is not going to work, because if Miss, I use you, Miss Lisa, because I speak with you the most, okay? But I use Miss Lisa. If she takes in 2 animals from the sheriff's department, and the sheriff's department goes and they drop the case right before court, she has to look at that deputy or that sheriff's department and say, if you don't have a solid case, don't get me involved because you just cost me a lot of money. That's going to be on that firm. That cannot be on the county. Because just like you are here and you're passionate, and I appreciate that, you have people on the other side of the spectrum. I've had people call me in the last week, the animal control issues it had died down a little bit because the money had been allocated. But I called Miss Susan, I said, the county's not a savings account. We got to get this money back to the people that are losing money over this, okay? But I had just as many people call me in the last 2 weeks that said, I don't want my tax dollars going towards a dog. I've had just as many, so I want you to understand that. I don't feel that way, but you need to understand what I hear also. And the commissioners, these commissioners, they hear the exact same thing. So as passionate as you are about it, you have people on the other side of the aisle that say, we are equally as passionate, we don't want our taxes going there. So, and when I got with Miss Susan, I said, let's please come up with a proposal that we can live with, that'll be fair across the board. I think you have done that. I cannot do anything other than take it before our county commission. For the simple reason we do not have a quorum here, we cannot vote on anything. All this has to go before the county commission now. That body will vote and say, and I'll take back what you're going to speak up and say here in just a little bit. I'll take that to them to make sure all of our shoulders are a lot better than mine and Miss Susan's and Miss Lisa's. All right? So we'll take it back to the county commission and we will see what they say. I can just tell you this being accountable for reimbursement, you guys are smart enough to know that if Peter keeps bringing you a dog without paying, you probably need to go see Paul, not Peter, right? So that's the only way I can put it. I would like to get your input on a few things. Are you guys, you have not had time to look over this proposal. I understand that. I'm not asking you to say I support it or I don't. You might bring up a good point that we have missed, or you may bring up, I can tell you the $36,000, we have to be very careful with that as an organization because we won't get $36,000 next year. There's $18,000 that goes in a fund to pay the Humane Society manager at the time. That's $18,000.
Oh,
So, and then there was 3 other groups, the Humane Society, SCAMP, and Faithful Friends. They received $5,000, $4,000, $4,000. SCAMP has already received their $4,000. The SCAMP is a program our nonprofit committee spoke up and said they attack an issue directly and we don't want that touched with, so they have already paid out SCAMP $4,000. So I can see, I don't know that they'll do that next year. You'll have a voice in that matter, of course, because it's your tax dollars. If they do that again, we will have the $18,000 plus the $9,000. And, at $27,000, that's what you will have next year if the nonprofit committee and the county commission votes to do that. We hope that they do, but that's what you will have next year. I asked Miss Susan, I said, please, because originally she said maybe $250, and I said, that's fine with me. If that's what y'all want to do, this is your ball game. I'm just a facilitator. So if that's what you decide to do, that's fine. But when this $36,000 runs out in 9 months, it doesn't matter how much you get on Facebook or the complaint corner or anything else and say we're doing a terrible job, there's no more money in that pot. It's gone. So now, at the end of this year, we have that $36,000. At the end of this year, we got $4,000 or $5,000. That'll roll over into next year's. The county commission, I can almost promise you, is not going to say, no, you didn't spend all your money on that when they voted 6 months in the game to roll that $9,000 over to begin with. They understand that. Most of them are very intelligent. So we have to make sure that this is addresses for the next couple of years. Just like you guys, we want to find something that works for you. I, especially as the mayor, appreciate what you guys do with rescues and how you take in animals. I see them popping up on Facebook all the time. You don't hesitate. You get the calls from the sheriff's office. I understand that. And I appreciate what you do. We do not have the tax base, unfortunately, here to fund a full shelter. And a matter of fact, I sat down with some committee members that was a part of this a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, and he said there's no way to come to a decision. Half of you wanted to kill shelter, half of you didn't want to kill shelter, and it was just, from the ones I heard, that we just couldn't get there. We couldn't meet in the middle. This is meeting in the middle to me. I really appreciate the hard work that any and all of you have put in on it. I think it addresses an issue. So if we're going to move on now to new business. This is for a reason. Does anybody have any new business? Okay, I've got something before we adjourn. But at this time, I'm going to add, your comments. We're not in a voted on meeting. We cannot, it's not like we're going to be outside the agenda because we're just in a community meeting now. So if any of you want to stand up and address what you have to address.
Most of the rescues here are full now. I can ascertain Faithful Friends is full. SBBF is full. I always make room. HRG is full. I can't speak for Hearts and Hands. Are you taking into account?
They're full.
They're full. Are you taking into account dogs we've already rescued in Stewart County for this fiscal year? Or are we starting fresh whenever you decide what to do with the money?
This is a fiscal year payment.
Correct. So anybody from June 23 until forward.
Okay, so you would have to have kept really good records.
Oh, I do.
To go back and say who called you, what time.
I don't look good in
qualified
orange. I
address.
keep really good records.
That'll be up for the group to decide, but I will reiterate that once this money's gone, it's gone. So if you've taken in $100 and,
And that's fine, but my question is, so it's from this fiscal year?
It's a fiscal year.
Thank you.
The money is fiscal year, and I can tell you that this form or something similar, whatever you guys decide on, will be coming to my office and we will be following this up. Because one thing that I'm also passionate about, and I'm not using anybody for reference, I don't know that anybody in here does it. I do not want my tax dollar that I pay going for a Montgomery County dog. I don't want that. I don't want it Houston County. All of them have their programs and their tax dollars to do that with. I want the Stewart County tax dollar that Uncle George out on Terrapin Ridge doesn't want to pay towards a dog anyways. I want his tax dollar, him knowing at least that he's going to a Stewart County animal that he is going to rescue and help his community. So if we are going to be following up on these, I'm going to ask at the end of this, if it's approved by the commission, I'm going to ask that this be a semi-annual payment, which would mean whoever manages this fund will get half the payment. In 6 months, you will turn in all your forms. I will audit your bank account personally. If your banking account and these forms match up, you are A-OK. I'm going to ask the county commission to relinquish the other half of that payment. If they don't, we're going to go into negotiations asking why Cindy Rogers has phoned in 47 dogs and they all went to the same rescue. We're going to be calling, we're going to be asking, we're going to be wanting. Because if we don't, you guys can't expect to hold us accountable if we can't hold you accountable. I firmly believe all you guys are accountable and you do an excellent job, but we're going to hold you accountable. I have to. That's the reason I'm here. But yes, short answer is it's fiscal. If you have all the information and that's what the group decides, we'll send that over to the commission and we'll see where it goes.
But the fiscal year started July 1st.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that'll help because, the commissioners aren't going to vote on this till October.
Right.
So.
Yeah, October the 2nd, am I correct, Ms. Martin? I think so. I should have asked you that, sorry. Ms. Wright?
So I have a couple questions. Okay, so our biggest issue, we know that our biggest issue is unclaimed strays, where they're going to go because we're all full. So we know that's the biggest issue, right? Not just this money, because, a lot of us have made it on nothing for a while now. I mean, I can make it on nothing continue because that's what I want to do, right? Okay, so that's our biggest issue. So when you talk about local vet and then you talk about the nearby vet, are you talking outside the county? Are you talking Harris? Are you talking Harris County that you got? Where did you get the cats from?
Specifically, I use the Humane Society of Clarksville across Spain and River County because I know several of you use them.
Oh, yeah.
The prices are phenomenal.
Oh, absolutely.
But they have to transport you there. The next clinic, which is a low cost, is the Paris Vet Clinic. But again, you have to travel all the way there.
So that was my point. I just want to make sure because we don't take account gas or mileage or nothing, right?
Right.
At this point, at this time.
Yeah.
No, that's okay. I'm just making notes, just point them out.
And
So,
then the other two were low.
Oh, local, yeah, yeah. So the flea tick and heartworm and stuff, dewormer and stuff for $50 a month. I know it varies up and down. Don't get me wrong, I think you did an excellent, excellent job, okay? But I pay out all this stuff. So, you know, like, I could tell you $50, I can't even afford to do that on all my dogs now, right? I'm piecing it together, trying to make it. Okay, so that's gonna be a tough one for somebody, maybe not just me, maybe others, I don't know. The one time only, so it's only at $200, one time only, one dog, right? First month intake only, okay? So, when you talk about the average adoption fee, not all of us get adoption fees. I don't know about some of y'all, but I do free to veterans, okay?
Yes.
I have been tagged and asked by certain vet clinics to get a companion dog for a senior human before, and I don't charge them because they are on a fixed income. So there's more than one time that I don't get an adoption fee. So, and I know that not everybody knows that, so I'm just letting the group know now. You would have known that. So that is which is my own choice. I got it. And I'm not asking the county, I mean, they're county dogs, but I mean, to county people, but I'm not asking for tax dollars. I'm just letting you know what I do, okay? So that's a negative though. That still puts me back behind even further, right? And then add on the 47 at the end, that's still that further we have to. I can't afford a grant writer, and I'm sure nobody else has a grant writer. Grants you can't find no money. Montgomery, the Clarksville spayed and neuter, the reason they are able to keep that at such a low cost and allow the rescuers to use it is because they do have grants and they do grant writers and they get numbers, even of our dogs, Stewart County, that we bring, we bring there to help their grants to get money. You know what I mean? So it's a help both ways, right? So that's that part. So then we go into, one of them was 72 hours. So 72 hours we're already into this, and for some of us, that's boarding, like you were talking about the boarding and costing, that we can't even do anything with them anyway. And we're already treating them and or boarding them. So that's something to be considered. And then we go into the cost of these things when we talk about, like you said, there's extra cost. Well, for some of us, I use my own money, okay? I built a kennel, okay? I did it because that's just what I like to do, to take care of them, and that's my way of taking care of them, right? I pay electric, gas, and water. Now, am I asking for county people's tax? No, but I want that as a thought process that I have done that when there's a consideration, when we're talking about these stray animals that are going to happen, okay? On my street, 2 dogs all the time were walked around, loose, not leashed. None of us cared, right? Everything was okay. I passed that little dog every day for months now. In my mind, I kept saying, I should take that dog. Something's gonna happen to this dog, I should take this dog. Because that's how they felt that that's their care, right? That they're giving to this dog as they let it out. It just wanders the neighborhood, it comes back. And luckily, it lived as long as it did, okay? Last week, I drive up to it in the middle of the road, dead. Nice and warm, just hit. So I pick it up, take it over, put it into the yard, and then I tell this person nicely that he could have prevented that if he had just done things that should be monitored, okay? So if we're gonna do something with the strays and we're gonna get full, and we talk about relinquishment, the relinquishment statement, we get tagged from people in this room to take relinquished animals so that they don't become strays and get smushed on the side of the road. I think, I'm speaking for me, but I know that some of these others do too.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you don't want to take them in, right, and I got it, it's only $36,000, trust me, it goes fast. I know, I paid a vet $37,000 my first year, personally, to a vet clinic. For the county, but it was my passion, and I'm not asking the county to give it back, I just wanted to understand. I would like people on the board, when you go to the commission board, none of them house or take care of volunteer or do anything with these animals. Nothing. That's why they don't want their tax dollars going to it. I'm okay with that. That's their tax dollar money. I'm good with that. But they're making decisions at this table, but they don't come out, see, participate, volunteer, or nothing for the animals. So if they don't want nothing done, then either they need to take care of them, or we all need to quit taking them in, and then you can have all these wild animals walking around, and people can shoot them, which means now it's the residents that are taking the responsibility to take care of animal control, or they take care of them for us. I don't know there's not a solution. I'm not saying there is, right? And it's going to be a hard solution because there's nobody that sits at that chair, or even any of us that want to choose which ones we euthanize and which ones we don't. Okay? Medically, I got it. Aggressively, can't be done, I got it. I'm not saying I'm for a no-kill, because there's not a no-kill shelter. There's not one in this whole world that's a no-kill. Every shelter cannot financially make it unless they, unfortunately, humanly euthanize those that need to be euthanized, okay? They can't make it. We had some help right up the road on the hill. It's called a jail. There's people sitting right there taking our tax dollars, mind you, sitting on their butts. Let them help us. Put a couple of dog pens, more dog pens there, bigger program. I can save the county some money just like that.
We used to have them out at the farm all the time. I think that was before your term.
Those are just some ideas of saving money that everybody needs to I'm sorry. There's a lot of things different things that be considered on this piece of paper. Besides just, we're gonna throw $200 per dog, okay? $200 is the first month, maybe, and that's maybe because mine are seniors, and I gotta do dental sometimes, I've gotta do ear infections, I've gotta get them fixed, some of them have memory tumors. Now, do I find homes for these seniors? You're damn right I do. I find those people because I wait and I look for them. They're special placements, and they live out wonderful lives, so it was worth every dollar I spent to do it. And most of these people are seniors that need companions in this county. That's all I got to say.
Is there anybody else that wanted to speak?
I think this brings up a whole other issue though too on animal control, that something needs to be done, with all the dogs running loose. That is an issue, a big issue in this county. I can't tell you how many times I've taken my little dogs out on leash in their front yard to use the bathroom, and here comes dogs and attack my dogs. I've had it happen numerous times. I've had to take one to a vet, pay out my money for my dog that got injured because somebody else wants to let their dogs run loose and come in your yard. Something needs to be done about it. I see it all the time on
That's a
there.
state law. We just have to pick up the phone and call the sheriff's office or the police department. It's covered under state statute. That's not a good answer. I understand that. That's not what you're.
But they never do anything about it if you do call
Well,
them.
that's what you have to stay on them, and just like
I can't say that the sheriff has started something. I can't say that. I'm a dispatcher, so I'm the one that gets the calls. They come into our office. He has started issuing citations here and there, so.
I agree with you 100%. It's a problem, but it's also, there's not one of us in here that I know of that can enforce state statute.
I can't tell you how many times he's issued them, but I do know
Right.
that he has.
But I do agree with you. It's definitely a problem. But we have state laws that guard those things. I would just continue to reach out.
I have a question. New here in Stewart County, so this is all new to us. Is there an animal control officer in the county?
No,
No.
We do not have
Why is that? Is that something that could be considered?
Well, monetarily, first and foremost, rural county stretched out monetarily. So money would have to be appropriated for that. But above monetarily, you would have to find an organization that would take that officer on. Because if you're passionate about animals, you know the liability that comes with it. I can tell you that Ms. Ramsey went and spoke with the sheriff on that matter directly. And at this time, he's stretched out. He cannot take that on. The Dover Police Department is jurisdictions in the city of Dover. There would have to be some statutes explored to where they could even get out into the county and take care of these animals. So with that being said, an animal control officer without any enforceability wouldn't, it's what we have right now. So.
But let me add, the sheriff did contact one of the animal control officer training courses, and he's hosting it at the sheriff department in October to train all the deputies. So they know a little bit more about the animal laws and, or what is an emaciated animal. So hopefully that's a big thing, and I think the sheriff is real serious about that. And when he goes on dog calls, he's also enforcing the rabies law. They can't show that deputy a rabies certificate, they have to go get one. And because every time they get a rabies here in Stewart County, a $2 rabies fee comes back into this animal control fund. So there is a little baby progress there.
The county's original hope with that rabies fund was that we would be able to pay the managing officer to dispatch. Call this officer, they would know who had open kennels or that. The hope was that this rabies fee would pay for that. It doesn't even cover even half of that. But kudos to the county commission, even before I got here, they've never taken that money away. That's $18,000. Typically, it runs about $5,000, between $5,000 and $6,000 a month. Is that still correct for the rabies fund? So that's just an extra. Yes, ma'am.
It would probably be higher if the rabies vaccination was being enforced all of these years, because the county gets a lot of calls about animals, and I don't think that the law enforcement has been diligent about checking those rabies and following up, citing them and saying, hey, you have a week to show me your rabies. And if the sheriff and Dover Police Department is doing that now, the rabies fee may help, may
We
increase.
should see an intake. I agree with that.
We should, and more safety for the community.
I have a question about the rabies. That money only comes back if the dogs are vaccinated in the county, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
The Stewart County fee is $2 per rabies vaccine.
Right.
Montgomery County is $4. And Henry County on the other side, I see is $2.50 or $3.
Okay.
So that's something to look at, raising it.
I think Montgomery County's is 22 for rabies, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, rabies
Right.
plus a $4
Right, that's
fee.
that $4,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, it's up there.
I think, guys, what I really need to know as your mayor, do we need to have another meeting before October to discuss whether to send this proposal to the county commission? Or are you okay with sending this proposal to the county commission? I would just like to hear your guidance a little bit. Is this something that we need to discuss again? Is this something y'all are okay with taking this? Personally, it wouldn't matter to me if you got $400 a dog or $500 a dog. At the end of the day, your pot's going to run out faster, and at the end of the year, you're going to make the same amount of money. Or you're going to lose the same amount of money. You're not making anything, but you're going to lose the same amount of money under giving these dogs care. So I kind of like an opinion on that. It's my job, once you guys are, or once the committee's happy, however, we didn't have a quorum, so I'm asking you if do I need to take this before the county commission right now, or do we need to have another meeting on this.
I'm actually fine with this because we don't get any help right now and help is help. So I would be glad if we got $200 a dog. I would be very happy. We do have private donors that sponsor dogs, but still with the county helping, that would make a big deal for us. Because we pretty much, besides sponsors, everything's out of pocket.
I've been on the commission a long time, and since I've been on it, we built, the county has built 3 schools and a jail. And I got approached at one time about an animal shelter, about some people, like people interested in that.
Can you speak up just a little bit, Randall?
Oh, I'm sorry. And I told her, I said, man, the county, you know, just like anybody else, the county can only borrow so much money. You know, and I said, right now, the county's pretty maxed out. And she said, well, I think we'll have an animal shelter. And I said, well, ma'am, we got to have, you know, school or jail or whatever. And she said, well, I don't agree with that. And I said, well, I understand that. We got to look at, you know, the children before we look at the animals, you know. And in the sheriff's department, they don't hardly have enough people right now to even patrol and take care of the citizens on the road. So, for fact, one thing is the pay that they get, it's better this year, but it's just a lot of competition involved with that, especially when we get these parcel around parish. It's expensive, you know, to take care of the animals. We all know that. I just spent several $100 thing there with a little dog my wife decided to get, and that's fine. But animals are almost expensive than with humans in some ways. But, a lot of people don't take care of them, and they just. When I was growing up, strays were just unbelievably bigger than what we got now. It's unbelievable. If you had somebody that had chickens, everybody had chickens. Everybody knew the neighbor's dog, and their dog got into chickens. They talked to you, you had to do something about it. We didn't have anything that had to deal with it. But I'm just saying, it's a hard thing to deal with.
Well, I get what you're saying as a commissioner, I do, but as a citizen and as a dispatcher and work all here on this board, I also understand people and they all matter, they all count, but so do these animals.
Really do.
You know,
Yeah.
and all of them, they're all full, they're like busting at the seams, and we can't seem to get the commissioners to ever agree to anything as far as animals go. That's what my concern is. I mean, you know, because they don't.
That's the only thing you do, honestly, ma'am.
I get it, I do, but you
To be
know.
honest with you, just put it on the next vote, put it on the ballot, and you will understand, raise your hand, probably tax it up so much to perform and do this, and that's the only way the county can do it, honestly.
I do, I get it, but I mean, in the meantime, these guys, Cinnamon, Lisa, Hart and Ann, which I don't really know that, Faithful Grant, I mean, they've already put out cuckoo's amount of money out of their own pocket, you know, and they're not going to get any reimbursement now for what they've done from here backwards. You know, they're going to get it from.
All this COVID money,
You
you
know,
couldn't use any of that, this kind of stuff here at all,
you know,
that I know.
I'm just disappointed in our county commissioners who just they don't care. Some of them just don't care.
Well, I will say, they give a pretty good amount last year.
Yeah.
They give a really
did.
good amount. They give, if you had to be really active not to even come close to breaking
Yeah.
even with 10.
I get that they have done that.
They did as much as they could do, but we have a responsibility to all the other programs also. We have a
I get that.
responsibility way before that. So I'm not, you know, they were elected just like I was elected. I'm not disappointed in them at all. Matter of fact, I think a lot of them try to do as much as they can do which is the reason why this year is the most money. 38,000 is the most money y'all have ever sat down to if you take away ARPA funds. Just the absolute most. Now, I looked it up today. There's never been another year where the Stewart County put into the hands of a nonprofit group $38,000. You can't find it because it's never happened. So it may take us a while, Ms. Lisa. We may have to inch into this thing, but we took a big step right here. I mean, just stepping back and saying, so I think they're doing
Also, I'm concerned about all the out-of-pocket money that they're,
Mr. Mayor,
having to deal with.
I would like to say something. I wasn't going to say anything at all, actually, to anybody, but the first 4 months after I was elected, this is what I worked on. That pretty much daily. I blew your phone up all the time. I sat down with Susan for 2 hours at your dining room table. This is what we come up with. No, I didn't type it, Miss Susan did. She's the one that perfected it. I'm one man, just like you are, just like everybody in this room is. If there's an issue with this, then I take it that all the rescues need to get together and come up with their own proposal and present it before the commission. Because I can tell you, to anybody in this room that says that the commission does not care is absolutely wrong. The commission does care. If we didn't care, you wouldn't be getting $38,000. I can tell you that. I advocated very hard for this. This $200 is a drop in the bucket. I get that. I applaud you for what you do, and I appreciate every single one of you very much. But to sit and criticize the commission as a whole is very tacky, in my opinion.
Correct.
Correct, that's right. This is unpopular. I will agree with that. What I'm saying is very unpopular. But I applaud the commission for giving this much money because it's not been done before. I personally got contacted about a dog last week. I'm not an animal rescue, but by God, come Wednesday afternoon, I was messaging saying, hey, where's that dog at? I'm gonna go pick it up and I'll hold it until Lisa can take it. That's the honest to God truth. Anybody that wants to try me, I got text messages.
I'll witness that one.
I've paid for dog food. I have paid adoption fees. I've adopted a dog from Lisa.
I have challenged him and I've challenged you, Mayor. I think the commission is all over it.
So this commission that we have is very active in animal control, and we are going to take a step forward.
No.
That's all I have to say about it.
Well, that's because you were just elected last year, and you and a couple new commissioners got on there and kicked in your feet and
We
your
did.
work, and you've delivered.
But it is a team effort, and
It is.
and we all had to agree on it.
That's for sure.
I would like to know, if you run your nonprofit, it has to be a nonprofit organization right now, rescue, would you raise your hand? One from each group. Well, you're.
Yeah, that's a hand.
It's just you.
No one.
If you raise your hand for me, and this is for nobody else, would you stand up? I'll start in the back with hearts and hands. Is that correct? What's your name, ma'am? I don't want to call you hearts and hands. I apologize that I wasn't familiar.
It's okay.
Okay.
She's been hiding. She's
You
coming out
support
now.
this proposal?
I do.
Ms. Lisa, do you support this proposal?
I think this is a good stepping stone to get us where we need to go. This is a good start.
Do you support this proposal?
This is a good start. I think this is a step in the right direction. I can tap dance with the best of them.
Again, I was not trying to criticize the commissioner, just so I want to make that clear, okay? Because I think,
Thank you.
again, and I told Susan, I think it was I just wanted everybody to understand some of what goes into the rescue so that everybody understands that. That's all I wanted.
And a lot of folks
I
don't
know-
understand. She's
And they don't
absolutely right.
understand.
It's true.
And I am happy with $200. I'm happy with $50. I'm happy with anything. I'm just like she is. I'm
glad to pay
happy
you
with the
tomorrow.
proposal. I just wanted it considered, everybody to understand what goes in it.
The lady in the back, who's she with?
They're all together.
Oh, okay, they're all together.
Yeah, they're all together.
I'm sorry.
The only one missing is Faithful Friends. Nobody's here.
Mayor, if I can, I will go back and say that I may have misspoke about being disappointed in the commission. That's not exactly how I meant it, but after I started thinking of, I do realize it come out different. What I'm saying, it came out different than what I meant it. I just wish we could, figure out a way to get a
Step it
little
up
bit
faster.
more. Yeah.
I
Little bit
think
better.
everybody in the
So
room would
I
agree with you on that.
apologize
Right.
for if I misspoke, Mr.
You're
Eli.
entitled to your own
If
opinion.
I
You don't have to
misspoke, I apologize.
No,
Or Mr. Redmond, I apologize. I mean,
No,
I
you
didn't mean
apologize.
it
That's
exactly
fine.
like,
That's fine.
that, but I just, I'm
Ma'am?
just concerned about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Because the funds that we get for the rabies shots for each dog, what I'm hearing is Clarksville has a much better facility and lower fees. So that's kind of telling me a lot of people from this county is going to go to Clarksville. So we're losing a lot of money from there. Is there something we can do to encourage the residents here to bring their dogs somewhere around here so we can collect more money for the fund?
If I had an answer to that, it would be to contact your veterinarians and say, listen, I'm not for sure, is this, the cost of living here isn't any higher, what can we do to ensure that we keep our residents at your businesses? Are you backed up and people are wanting to go? Are they more expensive than people want to go? I'm not for sure, because as much as I love my dogs, my wife loads them up and takes them to the vet all the time. I do not. So I cannot answer that.
Great. Why don't they ask, what county you live in? It's like the convenience center for trash, honestly.
He's saying, why don't they ask at the clinic what county you live in when you get rabies shot?
Because it's state law. You can do it anywhere.
Yeah, because it would, right.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I wish that you could be localized.
It'd be fair thing.
Maybe we can work with some of the clinics around here to offer good discounts for residents for rabies shots to bring more money in here.
I do know that we do, like a rabies month, that I do know some of the clinics will do a rabies month and they'll do it for a certain amount, so I know that would help bring in the funds. I do know that SCAMP, now I 1,000% support SCAMP. If you want to take all my money and give it to SCAMP, I'd tell you in a heartbeat, give it to them. Because that's the true root of one of the problems, right? Stop the breeding, stop the puppies, here we go.
When
We're
we
gonna
had-
start at the root.
She's right. When we had the spay neuter clinic, it was the Angel Fund. We had no puppies for 2 years.
Yeah, so
That's what a difference it makes.
there's a great program. I love great program, support SCAMP. I do know that some of the problems that we have with SCAMP, and the reason, because I actually went to one of the clinics and I was talking to them about, hey, what if we did something here like Montgomery does, right? Where we try to once a week, let's see if we can bring the population back, because we know that we're all going because it's cheaper, okay? Bring it back in. SCAMP, one of the issues that the vets were talking about was cancellations, right? So when they do try to keep, certain day and have people come, they cancel and nobody shows up, right? And that's a cost, or not, it's a cost for the vet to do it. And then some of the problems with some of the SCAMP vouchers is sometimes people from outside counties are taking advantage of using the SCAMP vouchers, even though they're outside the county, like another county, and they'll get a SCAMP, nothing against SCAMP, because I love SCAMP, but somehow they're doing it, and when they show up, the vets clinics might catch them and go, wait a second, you don't live in Stewart County. How'd you get a SCAMP voucher? So there's some tweaking that I agree how we can pull it back in and then utilize the SCAMP even better, more education. SCAMP, I agree to that. I just don't know the full way to do it. I just know that I have talked to around.
It might be a good idea to get all
To try.
the veterinarians in Stewart County and come together
Good
for a
idea.
meeting and see how we can work together to bring the residents to them for more
I
fees.
think you guys are closer than ever to being on the same page. That's what I'm seeing right now. I mean, y'all are not that far apart from the previous meetings that I've heard about. And this is hearsay, and I hate to even say that out. There's been some major differences, and I don't see that right now. So, I mean, that, number one, that's a great thing. You can start working on problems like that when you're together. When you're divided, you're going to get the same old things we've been getting as long as you stay divided.
But the veterinarians, the only two in this county, are on this board.
Okay.
And they're not here tonight. So therein lies a problem. I don't know why, but they're not here, so that might be difficult to do that.
Right. That's unfortunate.
But I think also a huge issue that's happening here is rehoming is the new, I'm a backyard breeder, so I'm gonna rehome and please give me $300, $400, $500 for my pet, and when you don't, I'm gonna dump it. I have personally offered to fix litters of kittens, to fix mama dogs and puppies. Tell me what vet you're at, I will send the money there. Nobody has ever reached out to me and taken me up on it.
That's true.
Both here and Montgomery County.
Yeah, that's true.
I have commented on several posts to say, I will pay to fix that mama dog. I will pay to fix your litter of kittens and get the mama fixed.
Clarksville
Nobody
has
has
a
ever
program.
taken me out on it.
Clarksville has a program. I get most of the puppies. It's called Leave No Mama Behind. So if the puppies, Stewart County or not, if the puppies come in with the mama, that dog is paid for me for free at no charge to me. It comes out of their angel fund. God bless them.
The Montgomery County Angel Fund? Right. But
God
I'm
bless
saying,
them.
like, here in our county, people are always like, oh, I've got to rehome these kittens. I don't think it's rehoming. I think
Right.
that's backyard breeding, and they're making money, so they don't want their animals fixed.
Or conversely, cat colonies. I had
Right.
6. I'm a big dog rescue. I'm a big dog rescue.
Right.
I had 6 brought to me from the lady across the street at the church. Teeny tiny 5-week-old kittens. What
Right.
am I gonna do? I'll figure it out.
And so I don't know I don't know what the answer is to tackle that problem, but when you're offering to help because people are saying they don't have money and they don't take you up on it, that tells me you're not doing it because you're making money.
You're making money.
Breeding these animals.
Correct.
So I can tell you what I want to do. I want to take this in front of the county commission in October. I will ask them to make this a fiscal date. If you are one of the rescues that have spent way too much money this year and you need to get some of your money back faster, I would say go ahead and take this copy, start making some copies of it, fill this thing out, keep them so that if the county commission approves this, we can get them to Ms. Frederick if that's who y'all so decide, and we can.
Susan, can you email the folks?
In rescue groups?
Yeah.
Your format, because it'd be a lot faster.
Yeah, I'll clean it up.
Yeah, and we'll have a clean copy to use.
Give you Amy's address.
Right, and number 3 on the proposal, did we talk about how to price out abandoned litters of puppies? I don't think we touched on that, did we? But I think that's something that also needs to be considered.
There isn't too frequently a whole litter of puppies abandoned. A lot of them, not that, a lot of them are people trying to give you their puppies.
Okay.
But let's say there is an abandoned set of puppies. I personally think $200 per puppy is too much because you guys can adopt out puppies pretty quick and get good adoption fees. So
I'll address this one because I really do deal with most of the puppies. Generally, it's a mama dog and the puppies. I'm blessed when I get the mama dog because she will never have puppies again. I can adopt them for a higher fee. I'm evil. I want to know where you live. I'm going to follow up. You sign a contract with me that you're going to get that dog spayed and neutered, and then they get money back. That's just a retainer. They get money back for getting the dog spayed and neutered. So I didn't even address that one. To me, that helps pay the vet bills for the mama.
Right.
So no fee for.
I really don't think so. The mama I would take, that's the one that's going to have the most invasive spay.
And she's gonna get it. She get it.
And the father, yeah, snip that bad boy.
And just to continue on that, I'll reiterate what I've said 3 times. If you make money off of 6 puppies right now, your last 6 dogs of the year may weigh 200 pounds and you're not getting a dime for them before that month. So, I mean, you know, it's gonna, I mean, you guys are it. I think all of our animal groups are here except Faithful Friends. So you guys are it. Okay, I have 3.5 that said they agreed with this.
3 quarters.
3/4? You'll be getting 175, 150.
So I vote yes.
I got you. You were down first. I didn't figure you would walk your own proposal. All right. Guys, I really want this plan to work. Let's make sure and I trust everybody in here. I know the honor system is going to work on this. Let's take care of Stewart County dogs and prove to Stewart County taxpaying citizens that we're going to do that. And then when this program runs around next year, this is really going to help us keep track of dogs also. This is the one thing that I'm excited about is when I get the papers at the halfway point of this, I'll know, I mean, what kind of dog, you know, we may be helping or hurting. We don't know. Next year it may be double or it may be half. Who knows? So it's going to give us some good input. It's very good. Thanks Eli and everybody else for working on it this season. Thank you guys for showing up. Randall, I know you could be working on a truck tonight, but I appreciate you. I got one more thing, guys, that I'm super proud to do this. I was asked if I wanted to do this, and I jumped right up because I wanted to do this. I say we, Tina spearheaded this idea, and I just jumped on board. But we were really looking to try to get some basic animal officers in the county. We reached out to the sheriff's office. They were shorthanded at the time. He was down a couple officers. The city of Dover, we reached out to them, and they were, you know, they couldn't make it at that time. But we did have somebody step up, and that's Miss Lisa Long. She stepped up and said, I would love to go to that schooling. And Tina called me that night and said, hey, Miss Lisa still wants to go. We can at least have someone in the county that has been schooled and educated on animals that have been neglected she can't arrest anybody, but she can give an opinion. And now that is an educated opinion. And now it comes with a certificate. Thank you, Miss Tina. Miss Tina reached out and said, this school costs this much. I'm like, she can't pay for that. So if you hear anybody say, you know, the county paid for it, the county did not pay for it. Miss Tina and myself paid for that. It didn't come out of county funds, okay? But what she did in that schooling, by going there, starting a network for our county, a lot of people don't think a lot when they go to these schoolings, but she started a network. Now she knows people from outside the county that Miss Lisa can pick up the phone call and say, hey, I got a deputy over here on Highway 120 that has a question I can't answer. Can you answer it for me? That means as much as her going to the school. So we're going to present the certificate of training. It says, this certifies that Lisa Long has successfully completed the Basic Animal Control Officer Certification course in Mount Juliet, Tennessee on April the 24th through the 27th. And it actually has her test score of 100. So,
And again, I'm sorry if I misspoke. I didn't mean it the way that it came out after I thought about it.
all of our opinions are rated the same. At this time, we'll adjourn, but since we didn't have a quorum, we're just finished. Finished for now. Let's see how this program works. If you see your commissioners, thank them and tell them that this proposal is coming to their feet.